Have you ever wondered what it would be like to witness the New Jerusalem, the radiant city described in the book of Revelation? A place filled with divine beauty, pure peace, and eternal light. What if someone could share a story of actually experiencing it firsthand? Well, today we are looking deep into the near-death experience of Dr. Richard Eby, a man who visited the New Jerusalem during a life-changing event that altered his entire perception of life and the afterlife. Dr. Eby was a doctor when, in 1972, his life took an unexpected turn. He fell from a balcony and, in a near-death experience, found himself journeying through realms beyond our physical world. Little did he know, this fall would be the beginning of an extraordinary experience that would shape his entire life and lead to a message that millions of people would hear. Dr. Eby's story isn't just about a visit to heaven. It's about a vivid, overwhelming experience of the New Jerusalem itself. What he described as a radiant city, unlike anything we can truly imagine. A place filled with light, beauty, and love, so pure it transcends our human understanding. He would come back with a message, one that would captivate and inspire anyone who believes in the power of divine encounters. Let's take a step back for a moment and explore how Dr. Eby arrived at this place. In 1972, Dr. Eby was a successful doctor in his prime. He had a promising career and a family, but God had other plans. One day, while on vacation, he fell from a balcony. The fall was severe, and he was rushed to the hospital. The next moments would forever change the course of his life. As he lay in the hospital bed, struggling between life and death, Dr. Eby's consciousness began to fade. He felt as if his body was no longer his own. He described a sense of floating and being drawn to a bright light. In an instant, he found himself in a new place, an ethereal realm that he later identified as heaven, but not just any part of heaven. He was taken to the New Jerusalem. Now, what makes Dr. Eby's story so captivating is not just his visit to heaven, but the specific details of the New Jerusalem that he encountered. The city he described was not a distant, hard-to-understand concept. It was a place he could feel, touch, and experience on a deeply personal level. It was an overwhelming experience of beauty, peace, and divine presence. He described the New Jerusalem as a city made of gold, with streets that gleamed so brilliantly, they were almost too radiant to behold. The architecture was beyond anything on earth, with buildings and structures that defied earthly logic. There were no shadows, no darkness, only pure, radiant light. It was as though the very foundation of the city was built upon love, peace, and divine grace. He could feel the presence of God throughout the entire city, an all-encompassing peace that radiated from every corner. What's more remarkable was the sense of timelessness. There were no clocks, no concept of time in the New Jerusalem. The feeling of eternity was so real, so palpable, that it was as if time itself had no meaning in this divine place. The colors and sights were so vivid, so alive, that Dr. Eby couldn't even find words to adequately describe them. He could see vibrant gardens, trees that bore fruit, and an overwhelming sense of harmony that seemed to pulse through the entire city. Everything was alive with energy, but not just any energy. This was divine energy, the kind of energy that heals, comforts, and brings clarity. But perhaps the most profound aspect of Dr. Eby's experience was the people he encountered. He describes being surrounded by beings of light, angelic presences that emanated warmth, kindness, and an overwhelming sense of love. They welcomed him, showing him around the New Jerusalem with such grace. He didn't feel out of place, even though he was in a realm so far beyond human experience. These beings communicated without words, yet their messages were deeply understood. Dr. Eby also recounts the presence of loved ones who had passed before him. They were not ghosts or spirits in a haunting sense. Rather, they were glowing figures who radiated peace and joy. They were waiting in this divine city, rejoicing in the eternal life that awaited them. The idea of reunion in the afterlife was made clear to Dr. Eby. It was not just a concept of the afterlife, but a tangible, real reunion with those we love, where no pain, sorrow, or loss could touch them. During his time in the New Jerusalem, Dr. Eby was shown the divine plan. He saw the majestic gates of the city, which were made of pearl, each gate shining brightly. These gates were open, inviting all who were worthy to enter. He saw the crystal-clear river of life that ran through the city, flowing with water that brought eternal life. It was as though everything in the New Jerusalem symbolized healing, restoration, and eternal joy. But as with all near-death experiences, Dr. Taibbi was told it wasn't his time. He was brought back to the physical world, but the message he received from his time in the New Jerusalem was clear. He was sent back with a renewed sense of purpose, a deeper connection to God, and a message for the world. That heaven, the New Jerusalem, is real. It is a place of eternal peace, light, and love. After coming back, Dr. Taibbi became passionate about sharing his story. He wrote books, gave talks, and dedicated his life to spreading the message of the afterlife. One of his books, Caught Up into Paradise, details his near-death experience and his visit to the New Jerusalem. In this book, he shares the details of what he saw and felt, explaining how it deepened his faith and brought him closer to the divine. His story has captivated many, especially those who are curious about the afterlife and the spiritual realm. For many, Dr. Taibbi's experience is proof that life does not end with death, but rather transitions into an existence far more beautiful and peaceful than we can imagine. But what can we take away from Dr. Taibbi's experience? What does the New Jerusalem represent to us today? For one, it reminds us of the hope that there is life beyond death, a life filled with divine peace, beauty, and unity with God and our loved ones. It offers a glimpse of what could be waiting for us once we cross over, but it also encourages us to live with love, peace, and grace in the here and now. Dr. Taibbi's experience challenges us to think about the deeper meaning of life, death, and our relationship with the divine. It encourages us to look beyond our physical world and tap into the spiritual realities that lie just beyond our comprehension. It calls us to embrace the truth that we are all destined for something greater, something transcendent, and that our journey, though sometimes difficult, is leading us towards something infinitely more beautiful. As we wrap up today's story, I want to leave you with this question. What is your understanding of the afterlife? What are your beliefs about the New Jerusalem? Whether or not you believe in the exact details of Dr. Taibbi's experience, his message is one of hope, love, and eternal peace. And perhaps that's what matters most. Thank you for joining me on the spiritual journey today. May you walk in light, love, and peace as we all look forward to the beauty that awaits us in the afterlife.